Trump administration's anti-woke campaign targets 7 flagship museums. The Trump administration is scrutinizing Smithsonian museums, alleging overly negative portrayals of U.S. history in their exhibits. A White House document, based on public complaints, cites specific examples across 7 museums, including criticisms of a Benjamin Franklin exhibit linking his achievements to slavery, and a George Floyd film deemed to misrepresent the police. The administration claims these exhibits excessively focus on oppression, neglecting American triumphs. The targeted museums include the National Museum of American History, National Museum of the American Latino, and others, with accusations ranging from an anti-American agenda in Latino history exhibits to the alleged imposition of Western gender ideology on Asian art displays. The White House budget director demanded information and content corrections from the museums within 30 days. This review follows a pattern of pressure on universities by the Trump administration, leading to financial settlements and the rollback of diversity initiatives. The Smithsonian itself has already preemptively removed references to Trump's impeachments from a presidential power exhibit. The Smithsonian Institution has yet to publicly respond to the administration's actions. In our next story, Tramell Tillman joins Spider-Man, Brand New Day. Emmy-nominated actor Tramell Tillman is joining the cast of Sony and Marvel's Spider-Man, Brand New Day, the 4th installment in the Tom Holland-led franchise. Details about Tillman's role are currently undisclosed, but he'll be sharing the screen with a star-studded cast including Zendaya, Jacob Batalon, John Bernthal, and Mark Ruffalo. The film, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, is slated for release on July 31, 2026. Tillman's impressive resume includes starring roles in Apple TV+'s Severance, for which he received an Emmy nomination, as well as Mission: Impossible, The Final Reckoning. He's also known for his extensive work in theater, including Broadway appearances and roles with prestigious companies like the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. His diverse acting career spans film, television, and stage, demonstrating his range and talent. This exciting new role marks another significant step in Tillman's career, following his recent reflections on his journey as the first openly gay black man nominated for an Emmy in the Supporting Actor Drama category. He has expressed a commitment to authentic self-expression and breaking barriers in the industry. Marvel and Sony have yet to comment on Tillman's casting.
In our next story, Google, sorry, but that Pixel event was a cringe fest. Google's Pixel 10 launch event, hosted by Jimmy Fallon, was widely criticized for its awkward and overly hyped presentation. Fallon's forced enthusiasm and inauthentic engagement with the technology overshadowed Google's advancements in AI integration within its new smartphones. The event, featuring numerous celebrity appearances, felt more like a contrived infomercial than a showcase of innovative technology. The focus on celebrity cameos and superficial marketing strategies, including Fallon's questionable commentary and scripted Reddit quotes, distracted from the significant improvements Google has made in AI capabilities. These advancements, impacting photography, texting, translation, and real-world assistance, were presented in a diluted and ultimately unconvincing manner. Critics pointed to the disconnect between Google's attempt to appeal to a mainstream audience through celebrity endorsements and the genuine interest of tech enthusiasts. The event's tone, described as cringeworthy and reminiscent of home shopping television, left many viewers unimpressed. The jarring juxtaposition of Fallon's forced enthusiasm and Google's executives' technical explanations further highlighted the event's shortcomings. Despite the negative reception, Google's focus on integrating AI into its smartphones represents a significant step forward in consumer technology. However, the Pixel 10 launch event demonstrated a clear miscalculation in its marketing strategy, prioritizing superficial buzz over a clear and compelling demonstration of its technological advancements. In our next story, J.D. Vance booed during hamburger handout to National Guard troops in D.C. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance faced significant backlash during a Wednesday visit to Washington, D.C.'s Union Station. While distributing burgers to National Guard troops deployed by President Trump, Vance and his colleagues were met with protests and chants of "Free D.C." The senator, along with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller, defended the troop deployment, citing concerns about vagrancy and safety for visitors. Vance attributed the protests to older, primarily white individuals who he claimed had never experienced real danger. He controversially attempted to reframe the protesters' chants, suggesting the goal was to make the city safer for families. Miller further fueled the controversy by derisively referring to protesters as crazy communists and stupid white hippies. The deployment of approximately 1,900 National Guard troops, largely from Republican-led states, followed President Trump's federalization of the city's Metropolitan Police Department. This action came despite a recent decrease in violent crime in the nation's capital, reaching a 30-year low. Troops have been primarily stationed in downtown areas, including the National Mall and metro stops. The incident highlights a sharp political divide over the deployment and the characterization of the city's safety concerns. The contrasting narratives between the officials and protesters underscore the ongoing debate surrounding the role of the National Guard in Washington, D.C.
In our next story, National Guard vehicle crashes into car in Washington, D.C., NPR. A military vehicle belonging to the D.C. National Guard collided with a civilian car in Washington, D.C., on Wednesday morning. The driver of the civilian vehicle sustained minor injuries and was transported to a hospital. The incident involved a mine-resistant ambush-protected all-terrain vehicle, MATV, a heavy military vehicle, part of a 5-vehicle National Guard convoy. The crash occurred around 6 a.m. in the Capitol Hill neighborhood. The deployment of the National Guard follows President Trump's declaration of a crime emergency in the district and his orders to station hundreds of Guard troops in the city as part of a safe and beautiful task force. This deployment has drawn criticism from some residents, concerned about the presence of heavily armored vehicles on city streets. While the Metropolitan Police Department did not release a report as no criminal offense occurred, the incident underscores the heightened security presence in Washington, D.C. following the deployment. Federal authorities have reported numerous arrests and firearm seizures. The injured civilian's condition is reported to be stable after receiving medical treatment. The cause of the accident is currently under investigation.